Welcome to Society Begins at Home, a podcast by the University of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Raleigh Dominic Hussein, and this series explores the role of the family in shaping individuals and ultimately our society. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Rhondall Fields, businessman, advocate, and president of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Fields, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here today. We are in this conversation about citizens and being good citizens. And obviously, many people will have different perspectives on what is a citizen. But before we dive into the meat of the matter, the conversation, tell our audience a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Rhondall Fields. I'm a father before anything else. I'm the founder of the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly known the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a businessman. I own Millennium Auto Dealership. I'm also the vice president of the Trinidad and Tobago Automotive Dealers Association. Other than that, I'm just the average guy, average father with sons, average citizen, trying to live the most complete life that I could live. I think that's me in a nutshell, basically. Yes, I may advocate for things because that's part of what I do, but I'm basically the average guy with kids, with family like everybody else, with responsibility like everybody else that enjoys having a good time when I have the opportunity to. We've always had good fathers,
Yes.
and that's part of the reason for the rebrand to Fathers Association. Because it's not just about lauding single fatherhood, it's about lauding fatherhood generally. There have been so many fathers whose wives have died. There have been fathers who've been good husbands also and have fathered their children efficiently. Fathers, or those fathers more so, have always done it in silence. As a man, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is my duty. It have no rank or show off in it.
Right.
It's part of my responsibility. So you would seldom hear them brag, whether they did it in a nuclear family or whether they did it in a single family.
Right.
Because this is my family. I am the father, and I must be there for them. So part of what we wanted to do is showcase good fatherhood, opposed to the norm, which was the showcase of the deadbeat father. A lot of the fathers from my generation, where we were boys, that's most of the time what we heard of.
Right.
That was like the boogeyman. Be careful, or because they go be a deadbeat father.
Right.
Opposed to giving us the joys of what fatherhood look like. Make us excited about being fathers.
How important is that fatherhood to fostering good citizens?
It's very important. It's because of the way that children look at their fathers. I often say, and I'm sure you heard it before, a young boy sees his father as his hero. If you see a young boy with his father, he does not believe anybody could hurt him. He does not believe anybody can injure him when his father is there as well.
Right.
So when you look at a young girl, she's very emotional towards her father. She is very loving towards her father. She understands how to relate and to react to male interaction because of the way her father treats her. She understands what she needs to expect. So it's critical and important to the development of both the boy and the girl who becomes the man and the woman. So fatherhood, I often say, is a pillar in the family system.
Indeed.
And the family system is the pillar of our society.
So tell me, what in your opinion is a good citizen, and what are some of the qualities you believe a good citizen should display?
The only thing I could think about is what I try to display, because I could only use myself as a tester, and that is honesty. And I always like to say, to thyself be true. Don't try to fool yourself. And honesty and sincerity is what will produce, I believe, the best form of citizen, because it provokes you to have integrity. It provokes you to have moral. Your conscience has bothered you a lot. It provokes you to say things when others stay silent also. So I think honesty and being true to yourself is something that invokes good citizenship within any human being.
What role should home play in helping our members become or develop into good citizens?
To me, home is the first place or space of learning. The first thing you should learn is how to feel safe at home. So it should have a protective feeling in your home, so that automatically you learn that is a safe space. Then all the morals, all the lessons, all the beatitudes, as we like to call them, that is where it starts. That is the stem of it. Parents have to understand the responsibility that they have, not just to teach it with words, but teach it with actions as well.
What challenges do they have when it comes to showing that example?
Yeah. Well, I mean, firstly, parents are human beings as well.
Yes.
Secondly, we have to understand that parents were children before they became adults. And many times come with their own traumas, come with their own dramas, and come with a number of things. And then we have to understand that most times the nuclear family is made of two separate family systems that came together and trying to form a third family system. And that in itself sometimes is where we have the clash of the Vikings there. Because now
the conflicts.
Correct, that is where the conflict is. And if you don't know how to resolve conflict in the presence of your children, you start teaching them something that I'm certain you're going to be telling them differently. If you call mommy a name, or mommy calls daddy a name, it's very difficult for you to tell Jane and to tell John, don't go in school and call people names.
Right.
You understand? It extends beyond the family as well. How do you relate with those around you? So the extended family, the neighbors around you. Correct. So that is some of the ways that we can impact, the way that we behave, the way that we conduct or we have a whole relationship with others in the presence of our children.
And from your perspective, what role do you think neighbors play, the community, the church, or a network? What role do you think they play in helping young persons understand what it means to be a good citizen?
I mean, it's critical. I'd be honest, I'd say it's a bit unfortunate that community has sort of taken a step back in this modern era. If we were to reflect on our childhood days, and I'm pretty sure my sons are fed up of hearing me say it as well, but at that time, the village really raised the child. So it wasn't about, I think sometimes the younger generation here speak and think, well, we used to go by the neighbor, and the neighbor will just give us a cut skin. It wasn't like that. The neighbor cared about you. The neighbor you might have get a cut skin at times, but the neighbor cared about you. Your mother not home, your father not home, you eat, they come in to feed you, they come in to take care, they're giving you good advice. If you spend time in your neighbor's house, you didn't even call your neighbor, that was your auntie, that was your uncle, that was your nenen. So there was this camaraderie that existed before, this what the Africans call the agape love, that really made children feel secure from our generation, really made us feel that we were taken care of beyond our family space.
It was like an extra layer of care.
And protection.
And protection, yes.
Correct. So you felt safer. You didn't feel unsafe to go down the road at any point in time. You didn't feel unsafe to do anything. And I think this generation of children, for some reason, they have not been able to experience that. I can't just say if it's just the shift of the time, if it is now that we're seeing a new advanced society where everybody is more involved in work than we are in family. We're seeing a total shift, and that is something we need to pay serious attention to.
Do you think we are more selfish as a society now?
Yeah, it's become about, you got to be honest, it's become about solely about self-empowerment. Yeah. And nothing is wrong with being empowered, but there is a great joy in empowering others along with yourself.
I guess we should see that we have a responsibility.
Correct.
To other and our society.
We all have a social responsibility. Yes. Businesses have their corporate social responsibility, but individuals, whether you're a businessman or not, you have a social responsibility to put back into your society, to put back into your very community for its development and betterment.
Drawing from your experience as a leader in civil society, What are some of the challenges to be overcome by parents and guardians today in nurturing and raising and even relating to young people in their care? What are some of those challenges you think?
Lack of time.
Time.
As we were saying before, I mean, we've become a society where we have taken sometimes a selfish train where we're saying we have children at this point in time, but we want to get to the master's level and our degree. There's a lot less self-sacrifice than our parents did for us. So back in those days, you would hear your parents say, I could have do X, Y, Z, but I understand that I have children and I had to seek their interests because I brought those children into the world at this particular point in time. So I didn't kill all my dreams, but obviously I didn't put my dreams over theirs. Correct. So I think with that, we've seen a society now where parents have become so busy that we don't have the family experiences again. We don't have the time to sit and play Monopoly again, play the Scrabble. We rarely have time. Some families still make time for it to go to the beach and the river, at least not in the manner that we used to back in those days. Some people who used to go to church all the time, they don't have time for church or for mandir or for mosque and these things. These events that are not just religious, but family-based events as well.
Yes.
So you're seeing a lot less of that taking place. Yes, you might get a vacation when it's vacation time here and there, but that continuous behavior that we seem to have had previously. I know in my experience, I could say I grew up with a single mother, but it was very important for us to have what we called back then family worship.
Right.
You understand? And it wasn't just about worship, it was about everybody sit down and discuss about what you did this week. How was your week in school this week, Ronnie? How was your week in school? Roger, that was my older brother. And to be quite honest, I have had to force myself to do the same thing because you've seen your life take off in an entirely different way.
You have both parents sometimes in a nuclear family working. Sometimes they work in opposing shifts.
Correct.
And that coming together as a family unit, sometimes they have dinner in their room or they just don't eat together or don't have that time to spend together. So we are seeing that the time is a very important factor.
Of course, it's critical and is important. And as you rightfully say, imagine some children today don't have a snapshot of these family meetings or greetings together.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is a challenge, being able to manage that time and being able to develop family life in a meaningful way.
A meaningful way, yes. Conversely, what would you say are some of the challenges young people face, which may influence their desire and effort to exhibit those traits of a good citizen?
And I mean, they're really connected. Negligence. If you feel you're neglected at a particular space, and then there's a space that influences you, and a space that makes you feel seen, you gravitate to that space. To some people, it may be an iPad. It may be an influencer on the iPad that they're taking influence from. And to others, it may be a gang.
Wow.
And that is the reality of it. Because as we said before, whether it's a single mother, whether it's a nuclear family, whether it's a single father, if we don't find the time to do the things that we need to, or invest the time in our children, and they have the time, and they sit by themselves and feel neglected, and other elements are wrong, those other elements
showing that
will
interest.
influence them. And it's that external influence, with the lack of the influence they should be receiving, is a critical challenge for the young mind.
I wonder sometimes if we are really maximizing our institutions, the church, if they are playing a solid role, community centers, other NGOs, what role are they really playing to help or to even give the family that support? Football clubs. Now you have to go and sign up for a football club. What about open savannah spaces where children could just come together, teens could come together and play football, play cricket, Easter time is a time for flying kites and all of that. I didn't really see a kite in the sky.
Correct.
Right? So is it a pastime?
And that's it. As we talking about, and we'll be hitting back at certain points we made before. It's because of that. It's because everything has gone into overdrive.
Yeah.
You understand? So even, yes, you will, many churches or many religious spaces will still say we have spaces that we have these resources available. But is it as impactful as it was 20 years ago?
Right.
Is it as home-reaching as it was before? In those days, there was things like VBS, where persons who you never went to church would come in your house and tell your mother send you,
Yes.
and you had to go.
Yes.
And mommy glad because she might get to go to work while you're in VBS.
Yes.
So is it as far-reaching as it was before? Are we investing that same level of interest, that same level of time? Do we have the time? And do we have the commitment of the older ones who made it their business? To reach into the homes, even if they had to reach into. So having a structure and saying, all right, our churches have this, our mandaries have this, our temples have this. But are they as functional are they as potent as they were before? And if not, you need to evaluate and try to figure out what needs to change to get it back where it was.
Parents and guardians that are experiencing these challenges in molding young people, right? Molding them into becoming good citizens. What do you suggest as the president of the Father Association? What would you suggest to them?
Seek help, seek assistance, and do it. Even if you have to be strategic with it too. And I often advise, particularly single mothers, because they are the ones that would come to us most, because we are father-based organizations. So when they have problems with the sons, particularly, they always reach out to us, and we have to encourage them that here what you need to do, you need to get them in a space where there is good male mentorship figures for him to look at. So yes, we're not going to say that the shift has turned when it has come to the level or the potency as before, but the spaces still exist. And it is your duty as his parent, if you can't supply something for him, I'm talking from the single mother perspective, is to get him in a space where he can. And that is something that I learned from my mother, because that's something she did with us as boys. She knew that she could help us and guide us in particular things with moral. But when it came to particular feelings of maleness, and even biologically with our bodies, she knew that she had to put us in spaces like the Pathfinders Club.
Right.
You understand? Spaces like Scouts, spaces where you're going to get men that will be able to mentor your younger sons. And I say the same thing for girls as well. Put them in spaces where you need women that could mentor them. If you're having challenges, whether you're male or female as a parent, find the spaces that you need to find to get the help that your children need for guidance. If you're living in a space that's torn with gang violence and killing, and you have to expose that child to another environment. You have to let that child know that this is not where life starts and ends. You understand? There's another side of life, a productive side that you could be a part of. You understand? And by this exposure, by helping create the environments that this child needs to survive, to sustain, to thrive, to be better, that is where you're going to get.
What process would you take them through to help them to become functional members of their society?
The first thing before any particular process you have to show those children is love. And they gravitate to that. And I can tell you that from personal experience. I've worked with boys. I remember during the unruly ISIS Rasta City War, Sergeant Small from the community police brought me in because they'd put together a team of boys from these conflicting gang areas. And the attempt was to bring peace through uniting the younger ones through sport. And they brought those boys together. And what we did is that we showed them love, and we did not make promises we couldn't keep.
All right.
And they respected that.
They remember,
Of course.
They remember.
From the beginning to the end. And that same team that didn't want to play together first, because all they kill Ratty from this street and all they kill John Boy from that street. Streets right next to each other. We were able to bring together, put them in the Commissioner's Cup, and they won every single game.
Wow.
that catapulted change on both sides of the area, where we were able to work together with the youth to form CBOs like Dash Rate Youth Empowerment Committee, Crown Trace Youth Empowerment Committee, Lendor Village as well. So much that areas that were not impacted by gang war, like Bridging Castle Youth Empowerment Committee, saw what they were doing and started to do it too. So I will always remember, and there's my experience with young people. They most times come from families where, as I said, there's a level of neglect. You don't have time for them. You don't tell them you love them. You don't say, they never hear somebody say, I'm proud of you. And you wouldn't believe the energy booster to tell a young man or young girl, I am proud of you.
Yes.
What it does to them. They beat every side, going and coming, just by that empowerment.
It boosts their self-confidence.
Of course.
It gives them, that energy they need.
Of course.
Somebody believes in me.
Correct.
And I think we can't say it enough, right? But when you went back there and you talk about love and telling them that you love them, I believe there's a difference when a father says that he loves his son.
Correct.
I believe there's a different feeling when a father says, I love you.
And I totally agree with you, because I'll tell you something. The boys particularly I knew had issues with their fathers. I purposely called them son.
Wow.
Dre Giuseppe was a young man who had a strange relationship with his father. And I purposely would call him son because of that. And Dre has gone on to do amazing things. He's now in the U.S. military. He actually now has reunited with his father, who is from the United States as well.
Wow.
So it just to get that feeling of hearing somebody call me son, I know that is something powerful. So I endorse exactly what you're saying right now. Most youths that they hear to say they're troublesome, they're giving problems, you put them in a space or environment, as I said, where they feel appreciated, where they feel motivated, and where they are made to show respect for authority. And you will see how much they flourish. And when I say made to respect authority, not with a fist and a hand, but with your approval and your disapproval.
Right.
I've come to realize that, particularly with young people, if you approve them enough, the day you say, I'm disappointed in you, it hits them harder than if you take a hand to lash them. Because they actually care to have your approval.
And the approval is so necessary. Having said all that, what do you think is a way forward in dealing with our young people, our young men, in ensuring that they understand what is required of them as a citizen, and how we could really help them on that journey to becoming good citizens?
Particularly our young men, boy, because our young men in a really, really vulnerable position. First, I think we need to let them know how vulnerable they are. Because as a young man, you don't feel, or you're almost taught not to feel a sense of vulnerability, which is actually a pie in the sky, rather, reality. You look at suicide. If young men understand that men are 84% the victims of suicide, they will know their levels of vulnerability.
Wow.
You look at murder. If young men understand that males are 90.7% the victims of murder, you know you're prone to vulnerability. If they also know that they are 99%, most of the times the murderers as well, you are prone to vulnerability. So we have to let young men see their vulnerability, and then we must validate them. We must also offer a means of protection for them so that they feel that they're not on their own. They feel that they have something they can look up to. And young men want to feel protected. And I remember specifically a young man, Zion was his name that we were dealing with, and his mother and his father had the perfect co-parental relationship. Perfect. But he always prioritized or chose to live with his father over the mother. And I asked him, I said, Zion, why? Do you do that? And he said, Mr. Fields, because when I am with my father, I feel like I am a child. He said, when I am with mommy, he's a teenager. He said, I feel like I have to protect mommy. So that if somebody come in the house, I am mommy's protector. But if I am by daddy and somebody comes in the house, I am his aid. So that was raised. That to me stuck out in my mind, that young men want to feel protected. And it is because so many of them don't have that feeling, that they're exposed. Sometimes they're with their single mothers, and they feel that they are the protectors. They sometimes get that sense of protection in all the wrong places.
Wow.
So we as a society need to protect our young men, make them feel that they have a covering. The older men have to do it for them as well. And even the women have to guide them into that covering and protection when they can't give it to them.
We try with our young people. We try with our families. We definitely need to ensure that what we leave them is the things that are necessary in becoming good citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Because we established already that the family is the cornerstone of society. And if we are not training, if we are not mentoring our families to contribute to society, to be that good neighbor, to be that good friend, to not bully, the society will fail eventually.
Correct.
You know? So do you think that our families still have what it takes to raise and contribute good members to society?
I strongly believe so. We have a love inside of us that even though we might dim it, it can't die. What we need to have is that narrative invoked. And that's why people, I believe there's a state responsibility to creating a narrative, feeding it on the television, feeding it on the social media, feeding it in these spaces, so that it provokes and emboldens and enlightens that light to be even bigger. I will never say that Trinidad is not a place with love. Go in the ghetto. You go see how much love it have inside. And I don't even like to call it the ghetto, to be quite honest with you. But go in every community, whether we might say it crime-ridden or not, there's a sense, a family, home base, and a dying in a sense that wants to come back to where it used to be. And I think it's about pushing that narrative.
If you had to give a young family, young parents, a bit of advice in raising their children, what would it be?
Well, I would definitely say put family first. And though it might just sound like a
Cliche.
blanket, cliche, honestly put family first before anything else. In your everyday activity, put your family first. Consider it. Your lifelong decisions that you're going to make. If you're going to accept a job, put family first. If you're going to create some type of behavior or do some kind of thing, put family first. Let your family be to the epicenter of your mind in everything that you do. We make some of those decisions solely based to earn more money and lose family. At the end of the day, money is not going to be around you at your final hour on that bed. And that is something that in my life, I just pay mine too. Because at that point in time, you could put money all over here. What you want to do is to feel the touch, hear the words, and feel the breath of somebody that you care about at that point in time.
I mean, truth and in fact, parents work hard to provide for their children, to make sure the children have all that is necessary for their survival. But if parents are not there, that is what the child remembers.
And the child has no survival. It's similar to what we speak to guys or men with this maintenance issue.
Yes.
It's not just about minding the child. It's not. We speak to mothers about it as well. They just shouldn't be concerned about getting money to mind the child. It's about raising the child. It's about the child creating memories so that daddy being present as well. So that when the child has a memory of graduation, a memory of the first cricket ball that he stroked, daddy was there along with mommy. And this is what we had to get back to. We had to put family first.
Being present in children's lives make a difference.
Correct.
And a happier child
Correct.
will make a better citizen.
Correct.
A happier child makes a better community.
Correct. It starts individually, but individuals is who make up the family.
Yes,
And then families make up the community.
that's right.
And communities make up the nation.
That's right.
So it starts at one and ends very broad in the end of it.
And that's what we want.
Correct.
We want a good nation.
Correct.
We want a strong nation. We want a resilient nation.
Agreed.
So, interesting the conversation we're having. And we have been chatting with Mr. Rhondall Fields, our guest, on Society Begins at Home. Well, the conversation continues, and we thank you so much for joining us today. And we know for sure that we will have more meaningful conversations in our subsequent episodes. I'm your host, Raleigh Dominic Hussein, and it's been my pleasure. Thank you.